Alastair Clarkson joined North Melbourne this season as senior coach to get the Kangaroos back up the ladder and create a stable club. It's been an interrupted first season due to the racism investigation, with Clarkson deciding to take a break from coaching for the majority of this season. It's a unique situation in the AFL, but Premiership coaches who have joined other clubs following their grand final success have struggled. These coaches have achieved the ultimate success, but replicating it at another club has always been difficult, often leading to contract terminations. The last 40 years of data blatantly shows that Premiership coaches aren't the single answer to success. 10 coaches from 1983 to 2023, excluding Alastair Clarkson, have won a Premiership with one team and have gone on to coach one or two other AFL clubs. This is the full list of the 10 coaches who won it all with their initial team from 1983. It includes the likes of Kevin Sheedy, Robert Walls and Alan Jean. From their only or last Premiership success listed, they moved to other clubs to try to repeat the same glory. Combined in the home and away season, these 10 coaches have been involved in 897 games. The total record of these coaches is 357 wins, 9 draws and 531 losses. It's a winning percentage of just 39.7%. These are the highest level of coaches in AFL history, and combined they couldn't muster up a 40% win rate at other clubs. Their individual records with each team they coached are ordered in the best winning percentage to the worst. It doesn't shine the best light for Premiership coaches trying to forge a new journey with another club. The poorest of these records include Malcolm Blight, who got signed to a huge coaching contract at the time and only managed 15 games. He won 3 of them, and for his fantastic efforts at Geelong and Adelaide, in which he turned both clubs around quickly, repeating the feat for a third time at St Kilda couldn't be done. Years later, St Kilda president Rod Butters even questioned Blight's commitment to the club, causing Blight to fire back famously as a presenter on Channel 10.
I couldn't give a rat's toss bag whether he thought I could coach or anyone thinks I can coach or could play. I don't care. Have an opinion, we all have an opinion. But when he talked about commitment to St Kilda for the time I was there, it's absolute garbage, made by a very naive person. Say I couldn't coach, Stephen. Say I made the wrong call. Say I said something to the wrong. Say I said something bad. All I did was handle some egos, tried to handle some egos with a very bad football club that had won 2 games a year before.
You said that you weren't good with kids, you were better with the mature list.
Oh, yeah. So in Adelaide or Geelong, 2 very young teams came from nowhere to play in grand finals with young teams. Come on, that's a wank.
Dennis Pagan and his time at Carlton was equally disappointing. He came out only last year saying coaching the Blues was a major regret. It wasn't all his fault, as the lack of collective effort and quote-unquote snake pit environment made it difficult to progress the struggling club. Mick Malthouse with Collingwood was by far the most successful of the group. He played in 7 final series with the Magpies, including 5 in a row, and eventually won a flag in 2010. Out of the group, he is also the only one to have won a single final. Mark Thompson's single year at Essendon was the other coach with more wins than losses. But reverting back to Malthouse, he flamed out with Carlton only 5 years after winning the 2010 grand final. Malthouse and his methods worked at Collingwood, but Mark Murphy recently spoke, saying the autocratic nature of Malthouse didn't really suit him, also noting the squad tried their best, but the pairing never really got going. But getting sacked wasn't rare, as 6 of the 10 got kicked out from the top job. There are a few reasons behind the struggles these men had. First of all, none of them joined sides that were strong and in contention. All were bottom 8 sides, clubs struggling heavily, or expansion teams. Mick Malthouse joined Collingwood when they finished last, Dennis Pagan came in to save Carlton, and Malcolm Blight took charge of a young St Kilda team. Coming on a big paycheck with the notion of being a Premiership coach does put the pressure on, but with the available squads these guys had, it wasn't likely they were going to shoot up the ladder quickly. The teams they inherited really didn't have much top tier talent that could win immediately. Although their records don't represent success, Some of these coaches did do a fantastic job. John Worsfold showed great leadership taking Essendon out of the supplement saga, and at least created a team that was competitive. In his 5 seasons as coach, they did end up with 3 winning seasons and 2 finals appearances. It's fair to say they flatlined from 2018 onwards, but it was only 2 seasons prior Essendon finished 3 wins and 19 losses. The succession plan, where one coach coaches for a year to then hand over to a new person, was brilliantly schemed out by the Giants and Demons. Kevin Sheedy led the charge of the Foundation Giants and set up a strong football club that developed their youngsters. They did lose some players, but through a pretty stable decade, they have kept key players like Stephen Cornelio, Josh Kelly and Toby Green to set up a strong core of senior leaders. Sheedy's successor in Leon Cameron fitted in seamlessly, and the club went on to make 5 final series and a grand final under his reign. Perhaps the more impressive feat was by Paul Roos, who took over and completely changed Melbourne and directed them on the path they are on today. In 2013, they were 2-20, finishing 17th, and the year before they finished 16th. But under Roos, they improved every year up to 2016 with a record of 10-12. The succession plan left Simon Goodwin with a stable squad that had stars of today in Petrarca, Oliver, Viney and Gawn. They went on to win the flag in 2021 and have been a top team for a few seasons now. Premiership coaches don't have a magic switch that automatically makes a club golden on the field. The quick fix ideas that Carlton, St Kilda and even Richmond had, hiring these men was always going to lead to poor results. Getting in a senior experienced coach should be used to stabilise a club that may be fractured, outlining clear standards while building up the playing list. Perfect examples lay with GWS, Collingwood under Malthouse and Melbourne. It's rare that a Premiership coach inherits a good team that is ready to challenge, but although the overall win-loss record of the 10 is poor, it shouldn't scare away clubs hiring these coaches. If they are used in a role to slowly build up a club and not in a sugar hit way to immediately win, then we see the positive results that can happen over time. It is a myth that the Premiership coach is the answer to solve a team's problems, but if you can give them time to steady the ship and govern the direction of the team, results can be turned around and the future can look brighter. It's a wait and see for Clarkson and North Melbourne. Maybe the best coach of the modern era can buck the trend in the next few seasons and get North a flag. Damien Hardwick is looking more and more likely to get a job next year. Who knows, he may be able to inherit the golden squad of Port Adelaide or get the top job at the Suns, but either team is better than what most of these 10 coaches had. So it will be interesting to see with a good team how Hardwick can perform, because the pressure will be on from day one.